came from French General Fabien Mondon, chief of the defense staff, standing here on the right, a close ally of President Macron. Earlier this week, General Mondon told local mayors that they need to start preparing for all eventualities, even loss of life in the case of a war.
If our country falters because it is not prepared to accept, let's be honest, to lose its children, if we are not ready for that, then we are at risk.
Hey, shalom, shalom, all praises, honor, glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles, elder bishop, the great millstone, who rule well, peace, and blessings to you fellow brothers pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. Shebachnak. Coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Wadash. Shalom to all the believers out there fighting for their faith in these wicked, evil times. Okay, I'm gonna make this a quick video. Lord's will, it's late, but I wanted, the spirit's on me, and I wanted to get to this video. Okay, basically, like I did a couple videos back, how the EU is preparing for war, and I was speaking to, I believe, Germany and Poland and maybe another country in the EU are bringing back the draft, but they're making it voluntary first. But within the bill to bring back the draft, if they don't get enough people, they're going to make it mandatory, or they say compulsory. And I go into that, the different meanings of the words and how they use euphemisms not to alarm the people. And here in this video, right after they did that video, the news started coming out how France also is preparing their population for war too. So it seems like all these European nations are preparing to go to war under the so-called threat of Russia. Okay, and the reason why I'm doing this video, as you know, we go into prophecy. This all is prophetic. This all leads into the war of Armageddon. Now, the kicker is that the EU, which is the beast, is actually going to turn on Babylon the Great. And these are so-called political and military economical allies with America. But we know, according to prophecy, when you go to Revelation 17, it speaks how the beast shall hate the whore. Now, you've seen this. We're going to rewind that clip again. I want to speed it up, so bear with me, Slakia.
The warning came.
Okay. I want to speed this up, because we don't have too much time. But this French general basically said that we must be prepared to lose our children. And he wasn't speaking to his children. He was speaking to the French population. Okay, because a war is coming. Okay, many wars. Well, let me bring out what Yahweh Shai told us to signify the end of Esau's world. Okay, the end of Esau's world will be filled with violence before Jacob will be established in the earth. Okay, a great shaking and great turmoil. Matthew 24:6. Let's read this and put the red letter. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. And a lot of these things are rumors, which the people, are so occupied in other distractions, bread and circuses, that they don't even take these things serious. Neither are these things on their algorithm. Neither are these things played on the mainstream platforms. Okay? Esau only allows you to see what he wants you to see. Nevertheless, the information is out there. So you can't say, excuse me. You can't say that you didn't see it. And furthermore, the Lord has the spirit on us to continue to keep speaking about this, because this is the will of the Lord that wars come. Okay? See that ye be not troubled, right? We're not actually troubled about these things, but these people in this world, they are actually troubled, especially Esau. Not so much these so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Americans. They don't know what the hell is going on. Their head is stuck up far they woman's ass. Okay, they're planning Christmas parties and birthday parties and get-togethers, and then going to the clubs, and they're high, off different drugs and drunk, or they're stuck in front of the TV, Netflix, or the bread and circuses, like I said earlier. Esau, on the other hand, all right, the scriptures say that the children in this generation are wiser than the children of light. Okay, Esau, he looks into everything. Thou art wiser than Daniel, and he understands what this actually means. He goes to these conferences, he goes to these meetings, he sits in on what the government is doing, and he's like, oh no, this is not good. Let me finish this. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. We know that this is the beginning of the end. And things are going to move real quick when these nation states start to actually, lock arms. When you have these superpowers directly fight each other. Right now, it's through proxy. These superpowers are not directly fighting each other. Okay, they're fighting each other through, proxy armies. Like America is fighting Russia through Ukraine. Okay, but it's going to actually get direct. Okay, the two bullies, or the bully, is going to be confronted by many other by Russia and many other nations, as well as Yahushua is coming to finish them all off. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Now I was watching with the bishop at the bishop's house. I knocked, and they put on Running Man, the first Running Man, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and basically the opening scene, they're in like a helicopter going to, civil unrest, and it was food riots. And we know that in all these movies that Esau Edom pushes out, there's always some type of hidden meaning, hidden agenda, innuendo, predictive programming going on. Okay, he's letting you know what he's getting ready to do in the future. So they already showed you that people are going to be, going against the government, fighting, because there's going to be no food. And we've seen we've been getting little glimpses to how bad it can get. Okay, just this recent government shutdown, the longest government shutdown. And every time Trump gets in there, they run the government shutdown. They run the trade wars. They run the trade wars. Then they run the government shutdowns. Okay, and then they give you stimuluses. And then they hit you with some type of whether last one was a pandemic. What's going to happen on this one? All they're doing, they're just running the same plays over and over again. The scriptures say that we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. So are they going to run the war? Under Biden, the war started. And now under Trump, more wars are starting. Okay, are they going to go into Venezuela? Are they going to strike Venezuela? Are they going to lock arms with Russia? Okay, things are going to move quick. This is all the beginning of sorrows. All right, there's going to be famines. The people in the Western world cannot imagine, there'll be a lack of food. But we don't have to imagine. We actually see it. Okay, like I said earlier, that we had a small glimpse into how things can change overnight. You had Trump, shut down the EBT for about a month. And you had mainly Jake women, the so-called black women, complaining. But this landed on a lot of Americans. So it's easy that it's easy for them to cut you off out of the system. And this is what they're going to do through, their draconian measures through the digital ID system and the digital currency. The cherry on top is the MOTB. the mark of the beast, which is the RFID, you know what, M chip. Okay, but let me go back to the video. Let's play from the beginning, because this French general basically said, prepare to lose your children in potential war. And then I have a couple of articles. We'll just breeze through it. All right. But this actually, they've been prepared to go to war for the longest. This is all part of their plan. But really, if you want to get spiritual, this was already set up by Yahweh Shemal Shai. And this is why we're able to understand and know what's going on before Esau even makes his moves. We're telling Esau what he's getting ready to do before he does it. Okay, because we are the prophets. Okay, we're telling you what the ancient prophets wrote in the scriptures, what they meant. They didn't understand what it meant, because we are the same individuals coming back. We believe that through the Spirit. Time is going to tell. You don't have to believe it. The scriptures say, "Let not the incredulity trouble thee." Nevertheless, don't believe because we say that. Believe on it because what we're saying is actually coming to pass. Nevertheless, you have to have a spiritual eye to actually see these things coming to pass. While these other Israelite groups are keeping you asleep and entertained, which is to be entangled and distracted, we are giving you 100% truth and letting you know that these things are coming. You know, the spirit is on me to continue to keep speaking about this upcoming war. Okay, and let you know it ain't slowing down. In all actuality, it's speeding up. Okay, and next you know, boom, the draft is going to be here, and people are going to be bugging the fuck out.
From French General Fabien Mondon, Chief of the Defense Staff, standing here on the right, a close ally of President Macron. Earlier this week, General Mondon told local mayors that they need to start preparing for all eventualities, even loss of life in the case of a war.
If our country falters because it is not prepared to accept, let's be honest, to lose its children, if we are not ready for that, then we are at risk.
See, if you're not ready to lose your children, then we are at risk. You think his children are going to be in the military? The dude look like a flame.
A message that left this local councillor reeling.
It was not the right time or place. It's just going to frighten people. Yes, we should plan ahead and recruit, but we're not going to go allow more children.
The scriptures say there's a time and season for everything. All right. And we are in a time of war. Okay. The Western world has been, especially here in America, they have been so accustomed to peace. And there has been a time of peace. But while you were enjoying peace, your government was going around destroying the other nations, sucking their resources, robbing, pillaging, okay, these different lands. And now these nations are mad. So now they're mad, they're ready to fight back. And now all of a sudden you want to get, you got your panties in a bunch. No, this is the blowback. This is the consequence. Okay? If you sow corruption, how does the scripture, I forget how the scripture go. If you basically, I believe it's in Job. There's another one in Job. Bear with me. Yeah, Job. What is that? 4. Let me see. I believe something like that. Yeah, Job 4 and 8. Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. So basically, the Edomite is getting ready to reap the same. But of course, he's not going to go out silently. What is he going to do? He's going to blame Jake. All right, and a lot of you so-called blacks and Native Americans, you're going to be drafted and forced into inscription. Okay, the scriptures speak about how they're going to die in the wars. The young men. Okay, that's why there's going to be so much women out here. And you women, man, the Lord is about to a rude awakening. It's beautiful. The Lord is going to give a rude awakening to really this whole world. He's going to set everything back in order, but through violence. Okay, because this is you. Let's read it again. You're going to reap the same. And that's all that that's all that they're involved in. Is wickedness, corruption. Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished. I'm sorry, that's not the scripture. Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. Okay, so you're gonna reap what you sow. Okay, so you Edomites are getting ready to reap what you sow, but again, he's not gonna go out silently. He's about to wage war. And Esau's waging war on everybody. You see here in America, right? What did they do? They changed back. Remember, it was called the Department of War before it was called the Department of Defense. That's relatively new. That was after World War II. When George Washington was in power, it was called the Department of War. World War One, World War II, Department of War. They changed it to Department of Defense after. Now what did they do? 2025, when Trump got in there, he said that he's going to stop all wars. Now they came out and say, look, we are the Department of War now, and so they no longer call the people in the military soldiers. They call them war fighters.
For others, though, it's a sound warning.
C'est une vraie inquiétude. It's a real concern for the future. So I think we do indeed need to prepare, and we also need to make it known to foreign countries that could attack us that we're ready.
It's not the first time that the general has taken a stand. He'd already told lawmakers that France needs to prepare for a war with Russia in the next 3 or 4 years.
See, we need to prepare. Look at these. You ain't gonna see none of these guys on the battlefield. They ain't going on the battlefield. You regulars, you civilians, you gonna go out there. Okay, and then I was watching another video. Basically how the elite are crashing these economies, the individuals going into it and basically destroying the job markets. All right, because you will have a lot less people willing to join the military and go to war if they had basically a cushy profession. So what do you do first? You systematically destroy the job market, so there's really no other choices out there. Then you can sell the dream to the young, dumb, 18, 19, 20, 30-year-older, because there's no opportunity anyway to join the war and believe that he's going to make a change and blame it on another nation, blame it on Russia, okay, and indoctrinate them into thinking that if they join and fight the enemy, that their situation is going to get it better. Okay, but you gotta crash the economy first. So this is what's happening. You see how AI is pretty much destroying the job market. It took 1 million jobs so far in this year. How much more, going forward? And they all plan this. This is why they speak about the UBI, the Universal Basic Income. Look at the smile on these devils. They live plushy lives. You regular individuals, especially you Jakes, you're gonna be thrown in these military, squadrons, okay, and you think, that's in France, that's in Germany, that's in Poland, that's in, nigga, it's coming to America, nigga, okay, and it's already, the moves are already being made, but Jake only gets worried about it, okay, when it's in their face. But guess what? It's getting ready to be in your face.
Russia itself is preparing. Positions criticized this morning by part of the left.
I don't think it's the job of the Army Chief of Staff to go in front of elected officials and give that sort of speech. A speech I'd describe as political.
The centrist bloc, though, believes the general's warning is legitimate.
The job of the military is to enlighten us about the risks and prepare for the worst. So he's doing his job.
The message, in any case, is struggling to make inroads with the French public. The government, meanwhile, has published a guide for a crisis, such as an external aggression or natural catastrophe.
But you see that? They're all prepared to go to war with Russia. But really, it's all going to backfire, and they're going to go to war with America. So let me go hit this other video. We're going to run through it quick, hit a couple more precepts, and we're going to close it. And I guess this is all fair use. Okay. And as you can see here, why Europe is asking women to get ready to fight, and that's going to fail. It's all fun and games, you women that want to be like men and put on uniforms and shoot guns and Call of Duty. But when it really comes down to it and you see a motherfucking head get blown off and you got to take somebody out and you got to run across a field and a drone is chasing your ass and you got to patch up your next fellow soldier that got his leg blown off, and these women ain't gonna, they're not gonna make it. And then don't let your enemy capture you. See, when when the political and politically correct and the Western, when that shit is thrown away, you're gonna see the real nature. You're gonna see how nature takes its course. You women gonna get snatched up. Okay? You gonna get snatched up, and you already know they gonna have their way with you. All right, and then they'll just take you out, or they might just lock you up somewhere and just you just be a comfort girl, and that happens all the time. Okay, during war, or you are the booty. Okay, so get ready to fight, you women. But you these women, you're gonna see easily they're gonna come up pregnant. They're not going to war.
Europe is training more troops as
But they might throw some of you hoes up in there.
tensions with Russia rise. Some countries are turning to conscription, requiring citizens to complete a period of military service. During the World Wars, only men could be forced to go to the front line. Now, some nations are drafting women too.
It's a big step to take because it's a way of saying this threat that we're facing is so important that everyone has to play their part.
Come
that
on,
everyone
man.
includes-
This is a Swiss Army. This is bullshit. These women can't be in they can't be in no goddamn military. But you know what? They might throw some of you hoes in there, and that'd be beautiful.
It's created debate about who should serve.
In like the situation that the world is in now, it's needed, I think, and I think it's only
Come on, man.
fair and right that women participate equally as with the men.
I do not want to die. I do not want PTSD, and also I'm scared about like life in the battlefield as a woman.
So why is Europe rebuilding its armies now?
Come on.
Is there
And these
support
women,
for sending
it's not the bash women, but this is not the role that the Most High intended women to be in. Doing push-ups and sit-ups and carrying guns. No, that's not. So you can see that this is just completely off. Let's go to this article here from the mirror.co.uk. Russia issues World War III threat as Europe deliberately preparing for inevitable war. And all these nations are preparing for war. Everybody knows the memo except Jake. Okay, let me bring out another script. Everybody knows the memo. Everybody knows what's going on except Jake. These nations are preparing for war, but again, they're not going to tell the citizens that. They're gonna sugarcoat it because the people will be up in arms. The people will go crazy. There will be unrest. There will be instability. There will be no cohesion. Okay, so they want to make sure, because when do you want to attack an enemy? Give me 1 second. Okay, when do you want to attack an enemy? Well, when they're divided, when there's unrest, when there's riots and protests, when the nation is distracted, that's when you want to go to war. So they have to keep these populations in check by saying everything's going to be okay. Oh, well, what does the scripture say? Let's get that one. We'll come back here. 1 Thessalonians. That's what these nations are, the heads. That's what, part of their job is to make sure that their population is not alarmed and that there's order, civil order. Because a nation can be overthrown, toppled, when there's unrest. Okay? When things are not in order. But 1 Thessalonians 5:2. For yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So the whole purpose of these governments are to say, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. There's nothing wrong here. There's nothing to see. Meanwhile, at the same time, because he speaks out of a forked tongue, he's telling you that they're preparing for war. But on the other side, he's saying that there's nothing wrong. Okay, so we actually see that. We see, what the scriptures say, shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people be not afraid. Why do we do these videos? Well, to warn you. Did not the scripture say that the Lord he has made us a watchman unto the house of Israel, and we are to watch and tell you what's getting ready to happen before it happens, so you can be prepared. So you're warned. Okay, if somebody say don't go down the street, there's a big ass a hole in goddamn a sinkhole down the street, and you're gonna fall in. Somebody don't turn down the street. They're right there at the street before you turn. Don't turn down the street. It's a big ass sinkhole. Okay, and then you turn down, you fall in the sinkhole. You can't blame nobody but yourself. You can't. So we're telling you that the enemy is getting ready to come in, and what is Jake doing? Arguing or proclaiming that the so-called white man can make it, or making AI videos against the Israelites. Nigga, don't you see what's going on? But obviously they don't, because the Most High has blinded their minds, and that's okay. We're moving on. Okay, if you can't get it, we're moving on. We don't care. Okay, we're praying that we are delivered in these times. What did Ezra say? Woe is me, woe is me. Who would deliver me in these times? All right, you're gonna know that a prophet was before you when these things actually come about. Oh, you niggas been saying that for years. All right, nigga. Okay, my nigga. All right. One thing I've learned down here on the earth these few years I've been down here, especially here in the truth, okay, is a nigga is hard-headed. Okay, Jake is stubborn. Jake is proud. Okay, we all have, those tendencies that, we got to break out of. But this is something that you got to take serious. And we continue. It's not like we just saying, all right, nigga, war is coming, and we don't bring out no receipts. We don't tell. No, we bring it. We're reading. We going into the scripture to tell you these things, and we're bringing out actual current events. Okay, measure the time diligently in itself. 2 Ezra the 9th chapter. Make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. The vision is yet for a appointed time. We're telling that we're in that vision. But what does Jake say? Oh, the vision is for a far off. What is that? Ezekiel the 12th chapter. Okay, it's not going to come in our lifetime. Nigga, it's here. Okay. Russia issues World War III threat as Europe deliberately preparing for inevitable war, and Russia's ready for that smoke, because the Most High put a spirit on Russia. Ra'ashar, okay, the chief prince. Okay, Gog from the land of Magog, okay. The Lord put a spirit on Russia and put a spirit on these other nations that Russia is going to be a guard unto. And we see that the direct nations that Russia is a guard unto are the direct nations that are written in the scriptures. Iran is mentioned, Persia, okay, Ethiopia, Libya, like, come on, man. And then Russia and China are back in Venezuela. So we're going to see what's going to happen. Russia Deputy Foreign Minister Alexander Grushko said war with Europe is inevitable. Yeah, they know that. And we're saying war is inevitable, but it's not going to go the way that they believe or trying to control it to go. This is the Lord's war. All right, this is prophecy. Okay, and Jake is complete. But it's beautiful. Jake is completely lost. But it's like when the Lord said that these people are blind, he meant it. He meant that he was going to blind Jake and not allow them to see it. He meant that. And we see that play out every single day that we're down here. Even though we're closer and closer to the end. Even though the digital ID, okay, the digital currency, the microchips, the brain implants, the artificial intelligence, okay, the wars popping off, okay, shutting down of government services, the mass firing of, all these different workers, AI taking over, okay, diseases, monkeypox type, you know what I mean? Like, Jake's still not going to see it. Okay, so this is inevitable not because they say it, but because it's in the Bible, and we're here to interpret it and tell you what really is going to happen. Okay, and there's nothing really in this article. A top Russian minister has declared that war between his nation and Europe is inevitable. Deputy Foreign Minister Alexander Grushko also said Europe is deliberately preparing for an armed conflict with Russia, and that's what's going on. They're already funding it by proxy through Ukraine. It's already funding it, and they already have assets, what they call so-called voluntary troops, okay, are in so-called consultants, okay, and trainers that are in Ukraine. Okay, remember North Korea also, you got North Korean troops that are in Ukraine as well, fighting with the Russians. I did a video, it was the beginning of this year or last year, maybe last year, I don't know. Things are moving so quick. I entitled it, if I'm not mistaken, the Koreas have entered into the war. So you have many nations. Remember, it's a build-up to World War III. Just like it was a build-up, okay, over years to World War I and World War II. Okay, but this time, this is the war to end all wars. Okay, and as well as this is the war is going to be realm against realm. Yahweh Shai is going to come from, the spiritual realm. Okay, as an angelic force in a body, looking like a so-called black man. Okay, with the chariots, with the mighty angels. Okay, Michael. Okay, the whole host of heaven. All right, to destroy Esau, but remember also to deliver the elect. And that's what we're waiting for. And everything is lining up to biblical prophecy. And the Lord has the Spirit on us to continue to keep telling you whether you like it, believe it or not. Okay, which is going to justify the words that we've been saying. Okay, no guile was found in their mouth. Okay, who else are the prophets? Okay, this is pretty much the same news, right? I think it's one more video, or is that it? Bear with me. Yeah, I believe that's. Yep. Okay, yeah, that's it. So let me just read this, and then we're gonna close it out. Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe is past, which was World War II. Woe meaning destruction. And behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So, so much news and information on the coming war. Okay, and how these nations are preparing to fight. Okay, but of course, there's a lot of distractions out there, which your average everyday person cannot understand. Okay, but the third woe, World War III, Yahweh Shai coming back, the nations fighting really against Babylon the Great. All right, it's building up. All right, also, was that Joel? Wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near. The Lord he opened up the mind to the prophets to see these things. They didn't understand. They didn't understand what they were seeing and writing down. They just knew that they were seeing a prophecy. Now we understand, and now we know that we're in that appointed time, and it's speaking. Okay, so keep your eyes open on Europe. Okay, keep your eyes open on West Asia, the so-called Middle East. Keep your eyes open on these kings of these different nations. Okay, keep your eyes open on prophecy. Okay, we are occupied in prophecy. That's our occupation. All right, the prophets will prophesy. All right, so until next time, shalom to the elect.